Hey to all the spooks out there. Welcome back to another episode of Spine Chilling Chats, where every Wednesday we dig up the darkest corners of true crime, history, folklore, and the supernatural. I'm Ange.
And I'm Manda. I was trying to come up with a clever name that started with an A, but I couldn't think of one. Like Apparitions in Alabama. Hauntings, but it's Hauntings in Alabama. That's what I'm doing today. So I have a couple stories and a couple of articles type things on some hauntings that have happened in Alabama. I'm ready to begin. The first story I have is on Sweetwater Mansion, also known as the Governor Robert Patton House, which is in Florence, Alabama. It's a plantation house, and it was designed by General John Brahan, 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 maybe, of the Alabama militia. He was a veteran of the War of 1812, and he owned more than 4,000 acres in eastern Lauderdale County, Alabama. It is an 8-bedroom home, and it was built of bricks, and it was manufactured by slaves.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, it was 1812, but it still sucks. On the site of Sweetwater Creek, which the creek lays just below the house. Sweetwater Mansion received its name from the creek and was first occupied by Braun's son-in-law, Robert M. Patton, a post-Civil War governor of Alabama who completed the mansion in 1835. The house was listed on the National Register of the Historic Places in 1976, so it's a historic site.
Yeah.
So, stories of the paranormal or ghost sightings and hauntings. Here is one of them. I didn't even realize this said apparitions. It does say, I did put apparitions in there. Apparitions in Alabama.
Yeah.
That's a good name for it. Apparitions have been seen in and around the house. It was featured on an episode of A&E's Paranormal State. Guests have repeatedly seen a ghostly woman as well as furniture moving on its own. They've also claimed to hear noises or experience faucets and lights being turned on and off. Some say they smelled fresh cut flowers when no one was around.
This morning I woke up to like a fruity scent, but there's nothing around me that would give off a fruity scent.
Ooh.
So,
That's weird. What about your Scentsy thing?
No, it's not on.
Oh.
No, there's not. And Robbie, he fell asleep on the couch.
You know what they say about stuff like that? So, they say that if you smell a perfume or a scent, so let's say yours was fruity, it's supposedly like a loved one is near, like a ghost. A loved one is near you.
I don't have a loved one that was fruity, though.
No. You're fruity.
I'm fruity, yeah. Maybe it's not a ghost, but maybe it's like a break in the timeline and I'm the ghost.
Oh.
And my timelines were touching at the same time.
That could be.
Yeah.
You just crossed into your own dimension.
Yeah.
Glitch
in the Matrix.
Yeah, glitch in the Matrix. Or the butterfly effect. Have you seen that?
The movie with Ashton Kutcher? Of course.
My bad.
Where do you think I've been? That was like 25 years ago it came out. Of course I saw it.
Right. What was I thinking?
It was like one of the most popular movies when it came out.
All right, so
have you seen Butterfly Effect? Jesus.
Okay, so the mansion's basement also was a Civil War makeshift hospital and a county jail. Like, here, I'm going to make you feel better, and then you probably did something so you can go to jail in this room over here.
They were the same at the same time?
Yeah.
It wasn't like it was a hospital and then it was a jail?
It just says that it was a makeshift hospital and a county jail at one point in history.
Yeah, so it probably wasn't the same time.
Construction started in the basement in 1828, and in this dank underdwelling where Sweetwater Mansion's mystery room is located.
Mystery room?
Mystery room. The Phantom Casket is the first ghost story. One report has come out of Sweetwater that said that the caretaker of the home, she reportedly came downstairs only to see a casket appear out of nowhere. Oh, my nail. I lost 2 nails on the way home today. We were at a car show. I got a car show shirt. This is Mike's car-ish. This is the kind of car he has. So we all got matching shirts, and I lost 2 nails on the way home, and now I feel weird. So
you can look at my pretty nails.
Yeah, those are watermelons. Inside the casket was the body of a man in a Confederate Army uniform. She had no idea who the man was, but discovered that he may have been one of the general's sons who perished during the American Civil War. And that would make sense because his funeral was held in Sweetwater Mansion. So not only was it a hospital, a jail, but now it's a funeral home.
Yeah, makes sense.
It's also believed that both the general's sons were buried in the floor of the mystery room.
Why would they be buried in the floor?
I don't know. It also said that when Billy, one of Patton's sons, died, his mother, Jane Patton, was too distraught and destroyed over her son's death that she didn't want to bury him. Instead, she kept his corpse in the now called mystery room in the basement. Okay. So that's one. A mystery casket with a Confederate officer. Here's the second one. Locking doors. Doors are said to lock behind female visitors and staff members.
I'd nope right out of there.
Don't shut the door.
Yeah. If it's
unless the door has been known to shut behind you. I would not be shutting the doors. I'm trying to hide my hand, guys.
Don't worry about it. They already saw
they
it.
They did.
So
but yeah, nope.
Now you look like that one.
Leaving them afraid and unable to get out. It's believed that the ghost of Billy is playing tricks on the women. Others believe he does it for a more sinister purpose. One of the earliest caretakers, Mrs. Emmett Letty Regan, got locked in a room, which caused her to only be able to work and stay in a few of the rooms that she felt 100% comfortable in. So locking doors.
Yeah, I don't like that.
I don't either. I don't mind being in rooms with doors shut and locked, but I want to do it myself. Like if I was here, like we're in Angela's basement, and I locked the door and I shut it, like that's fine. But if she had me down here and she shut and locked the door, no thank you.
Like if I left you down here alone or if I was down here with you?
Alone.
Okay.
I could be down here alone.
So if I
lock it.
So if I was with you and locked it and I stayed down here with you.
That would be, I'd probably question your morality of what's going on. But I'd be okay with it.
See, I don't even think I would think twice about it if, like, I was at your house. Although I've never been inside your house because you never invited me.
It's nothing special.
Yeah.
Nothing special. It's just the house.
Mm-hmm.
You have one time, I thought.
Not this house.
Oh, yeah. You were in the apartment, weren't you? I only lived there for a year.
No, the house that you were renting from your brother-in-law. And then your one with Ty. Those are the only 2 houses I've been in.
I'm not even at my own house half the time.
No.
I mean, I was for a long time. I would never leave my house. But yeah, I would be okay if somebody was down here and they locked it, but knowing that I can get out versus somebody locking it from the outside, knowing I cannot get out. No, I couldn't handle like that. No. And if it shut behind me and it locked behind me.
But if I'm with you and you locked it and you stayed with me, I wouldn't.
Okay, but if I'm with you and you locked it, that's fine. But if I'm with you and somebody else locked it, no.
Well, no, I'd be worried too.
Yeah.
I'd be like, Robbie.
Another occurrence, this is the last one. Another occurrence within the home includes doors moving by themselves. See? as well as large ceiling tiles being ripped from the ceiling and thrown across the room.
Okay, but how old is this place? It's
1830, 1820 something.
Yeah, it's almost 200 years old. Okay,
Yeah.
Ceiling tiles fall. That's gonna happen.
You're gonna love this next one. Other times, the sounds of children's giggles have been heard, and there are no children present at the home.
Yeah.
Woo.
If I heard that, I'd freak out. I've been trying to be more open-minded because I've been trying to meditate and open myself up. So when we do our ghost hunt, June 13th, which is a Friday the 13th at Beeson Haunted Mansion, I can experience something. I want to open myself up as much as possible so I can actually have an experience. I've been trying.
Yes, she has. So
we'll see.
Fingers crossed.
Our little mushroom looks so stumpy.
It's like
I dropped it and it fell and it broke. It's supposed to be like that, but now he's a grower, not a shower.
Yeah. This is the Drish House. It is owned by and built for Dr. John R. Drish, also known simply as the Drish House. It's a historic plantation home in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. It's one of the distinctive mixes of the Greek Revival and Italianate styles in Alabama.
Tuscaloosa, that's where one of our aliens was at.
There was, when I was looking up hauntings, and it said that the Sweetwater was in, I have it right here, the most terrifying places in America. So I opened up that link to see what episode it was. And it had the Donner on there. And I was like, look at that. One of the most terrifying places in America. The Drish House is also famous for its ghost stories. Many believe it is haunted, with numerous reports of paranormal activity attracting ghost hunters and enthusiasts, which, if we go to Alabama, we should check it out.
I don't think I've never had an interest for Alabama.
Okay, but there's hauntings in Alabama.
There's hauntings everywhere.
Right, but we know
But there's like much closer places.
That's true. But we need another trip.
And if I'm going on a trip, Alabama's not where I'm going to pick. I want to go to New Orleans.
NOLA.
That's
too.
My next one I really want to hit.
Me too. So, the ghost of Sarah Drish. In 1867, Dr. John Drish tragically fell down the stairs while drunk in the house. His wife Sarah held a wake for him in the tower that still stands today. A year later, overwhelmed with grief, she jumped from that same tower.
No.
Yeah.
That's sad.
It's said that she wished for candles like those at John's wake to be lit at her funeral, but that never happened. Many believed her spirit haunts the tower, still searching for peace. Visitors have reported seeing a woman in white wandering the halls or looking out windows, thought to be Sarah Drish. Alongside sightings of Sarah, many people have experienced strange occurrences such as sudden drops in temperature, which I heard that's something too. Like when you get real cold chill or whatever, like that's yeah.
That's one of the
telltale signs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like in my Phasmophobia game.
Which I still have not. I'm getting a new laptop, so I should be able to play.
Will you play with me, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Flickering lights and footsteps on empty rooms. Some have heard voices or seen objects move on their own. And that's what makes it a good spot for ghost tours. Dr. Drish fell downstairs drunk. You know, he must have been having a good time. He died. His wife built a tower. She got depressed. She killed herself. And now she haunts the mansion.
Because nobody lit those candles she wanted.
Nobody lit the candles. All you got to do is light the fucking candles.
Go light the candles and she'll be at peace.
Next one I have is Maple Hill Cemetery. It's the oldest and largest cemetery in Huntsville, Alabama. Huntsville. Every time I say Alabama, I want to be like,
Alabama. Sweet home Alabama.
Okay. You guys,
That's
it's like
another great movie.
yes, it's so
I
cute.
I love that movie.
It's 10:30 p.m. Like I've been up since 5 o'clock this morning.
I've been up pretty early too, and I cleaned my house. And
promise you, I wanted to have a drink tonight while we did this, but this is just sweet tea.
Yeah. I had a couple of nice hard lemonades.
Did you? Mm-hmm. I had a strawberry margarita at the car show. Maple Hill Cemetery is the oldest and largest cemetery in Huntsville, Alabama, and it sits on about 2 acres. And it was formed in the year 1822. Now it encompasses nearly 100 acres and contains over 80,000 burials, which seems like a lot, but then you got to think about how many people are on Earth. Like, that's really nothing.
That's still a shit ton.
It is still a lot. It was added to the Alabama Historical Commission and Historic Cemetery in 2008. Though the early burials are difficult to document, there is substantial evidence that the land had been in use as a cemetery for some time prior to its official establishment. So there ultimately could be more bodies than what is recorded. The oldest grave was a marker that is still intact, and that is of Mary Frances Atwood. And she was an infant daughter of William and Martha Caroline Atwood, who died September 17th, 1820. Headstones are sparse, decayed over time. In 1849, the cemetery expanded. The cemetery was also called the Legend of Alabama's Dead Children's Playground. So, because it adjoined, like the cemetery is next to the park. Adjoining Huntsville Historic Maple Hill Cemetery is a playground that looks much like any other, featuring modern swing sets and climbing apparatuses and things like that. It's surrounded on 3 sides by limestone that formed many caves in the area, giving it shadowed appearance that led itself to spooky legends. Local teens call it Dead Children's Playground, a macabre name for a place still used by families.
Mm-hmm.
So, why did it get the name? Many children who died in Huntsville during 1918 Spanish flu pandemic were buried in Maple Hill plots. The spirits of those children, some say, come out after dark to run and play.
Aww. It's kind of sweet, though.
It is.
You know, kids just want to be kids, whether they're alive or dead.
That's true. That's true. Yeah. They just want to play.
They just want to play.
They didn't get that chance when they were alive. Online searches turn up photos of unexplained shadows and orbs.
I don't buy into orbs.
I think it's just a piece of dust flying in the air.
Yeah, I think orbs are just a little crock.
Yeah.
It's either a bug flying, dust floating, you know, it's...
I'm sure there's an orb. You guys will see an orb in here somewhere.
Yeah.
And it's just because
it's dusty.
Yeah, it's a basement, and it's a clean basement, but, you know.
Yeah.
It could still have dust or something, hair flying around. Many children, as well as adults, died during the worldwide pandemic, which killed an estimated 50 million people. It hit Huntsville particularly hard, and hospital beds were filled. The doctors were working long shifts. Many patients were treated at home with large quarantine signs on the door.
So with the children's playground, though,
yeah, when did it start talking?
In Buchanan, there's Catherine's playground, where it used to be a cemetery. Like, it originally was a cemetery, and they relocated all of those graves to the new cemetery, which is on Front Street, and turned that into a playground. So it's a playground where it used to be a cemetery.
Oh,
yeah.
Yes. Oh, I do know that.
Yeah, and then I showed you the where it has all the graves.
So with the quarantine signs and all that on the doors to try to prevent the spread of the disease, the parents warned the children to keep their windows closed, and a nursery rhyme ensued. I had a bird. Its name was Enza. I opened the window, and in flew Enza. Influenza.
Bum.
Visitors to the cemetery and those who have visited the playground witnessed some pretty strange things. One of them, most common occurrences, is swings on the swing set moving on their own as if they're being used by invisible entities. Others report hearing laughter and children calling out. Flitting orbs of different colors are also reported and have been captured on film once the photos are developed. So that's the
Children's
playground. Maple Hill Cemetery / Dead Hill. God, why can I not fucking talk? The Trotter House. That's in Selma, Alabama. They have had sightings of falling jars, mysterious noises, and balls of light. Norm Trotter and his wife Pat and their 2 teenage daughters at the time, Katie and Jenny, moved into the house 26 years ago on September 16th, 1991, and there have been unexplained experiences ever since. Noises and things you can't explain. There would be brushes by them, like people walking, and they would feel something brush up against them and nobody was there. They would feel brushes on their cheeks while they were sleeping. That would freak me the fuck out.
Yeah, I don't like being touched.
The kids were upstairs in a dressing for prom, and they heard clothes hangers in the closets just jangling. Now, those don't just jingle by themselves. They opened the door, and one of them moved. They'd woken up in the middle of the night and seen some image at the foot of the bed and thought it was a girlfriend spending the night, but she was laying there sound asleep. Brushes on the face, and the list goes on. One encounter, Pat was in the kitchen talking to Katie, the daughter, when a jar that was sitting on top of a cabinet with a tall lip, kind of like my painting where the nail was long enough where it's just not going to fall off by itself. This had a tall lip on it, and it fell to the ground and busted. So how does that happen? A ball of light was seen floating down the hall while they were watching the Atlanta Braves play. Oh, Atlanta Braves! In the World Series.
Well, I found a story on Reddit of a haunted apartment complex. This is written in by ASHDLC in the subreddit Alabama, looking for haunted or spooky places in Alabama. I'm a little late to the party, but I lived in a severely haunted apartment complex in Dothan, Alabama. The apartments are set up like townhouses. There are 2 streets reporting to the same exact hauntings over the course of many years. Google Chapelwood Killer, Dothan, Alabama, and you will see an image of the woman who was killed in a townhouse on Woodley. Her name is Marilyn, a new nurse in her early 20s. The hauntings extend as far down to the end of Edgefield Road. I lived in 108 Edgefield, number 2. The whole building, 108, had issues. The number 3 house was always empty because people would move in and within a month or 2, they were gone. It started with me by cabinets opening on their own, or I would come home and all the lights would be on and the cabinets open. Utensils would be on the floor or rearranged at times. My uncle lived with me briefly and had to sleep on my couch in the living room. Children's toys would go off in the middle of the night. I'm not talking one toy either, like all the toys went off at the same time. This was the type of man to joke about the devil. He's an old rocker type of guy. He even has 666 tatted on his back, and he was even frightened to the point of tears. I lived there 6 years and lived through a massive depression while living in this townhouse. I even caught my kid's dad with child pornography on his computer in this house. And guess how I found it? There were kitchen utensils on the floor leading to the room it was in. and a single spoon sitting on the computer desk. If you Google the story, it's clear why she doesn't like men. They're referring to Marilyn, because they think that's who's haunting it. Once my friend and I, she was my neighbor and lived in number 1, were having coffee, sitting in the living room. There was a huge TV in my living room right in front of us. I noticed her break eye contact, and her gaze shifted to the TV, and her face went white. She was speechless. I looked up as well and saw Marilyn sitting in between us on the couch, looking at us in our reflections. Oh, that would be scary.
I got chills on that one. Look at that.
Yeah. Once I even had a friend who claimed he could talk to the dead. First mistake, he was a man. He came over and we didn't acknowledge it at first because he wanted to see if any activity would occur. We did hear footsteps upstairs and continued to ignore it to see if the energy would get worse. We went to the stairs and there she was, standing at the top of the stairs. Not even an apparition, but a full-blown cellular human being, it seemed. She vanished, and he said she charged him out of the house. I cried for 3 hours because I was so scared. When I moved abruptly, I couldn't take everything with me due to things not fitting in the truck. My mom came over and removed the rest of the items. One thing she kept to remember my sons by was their toy chest. When I was pregnant with my first son, we found the chest at an antique place and stained it ourselves. After a month of having the chest in her home, she had to get rid of it because Marilyn had attached herself to the chest and was now inside her house, planting her energy. Everyone in her house, including the dog, felt it and reacted depressively to it. She says still to this day she can't even drive by my old place because the energy is so frightening. I doubt anyone would be able to go inside and investigate or anything, but I guess I'm posting this to vent almost because every once in a while I still see her and it's so disturbing. I also want to say if any of her family ever see this, I am so sorry and I do not mean any disrespect to your family member. With the way she passed, she deserves to have her anger validated, and I feel she attached to me because I also shared the same anger and violation from the child porn she led me to. She almost protected me in a sick way, even though her presence negatively influenced my mental health for years. It's bittersweet in a way. I feel like I need to look up Marilyn's story.
I know, right?
Chapelwood Killer.
So there's also hauntings at the Redmont Hotel. Doors open and close by themselves. The spirit of former owner Clifford Stiles maintains high cleanliness standards, pulling sheets off beds and knocking over cleaning supplies. A small phantom dog believed to belong to Stiles trots down hallways before vanishing. The hotel is rumored to be haunted by the spirit of Hank Williams Sr., with guests reporting country-style guitar music and sightings of a shadowy figure in Stetson cowboy hat. Harry the Hacker is the Axe Syndicate's reign. Another malevolent figure emerged known as Harry the Hacker. The sinister killer targeted women, leaving behind macabre scenes of mutilation. Despite police efforts, Harry the Hacker eluded capture, becoming a spectral figure in Birmingham's dark history. Witnesses speak of shadowy figures in the dark trench coat and wide-brimmed hat, casting a haunting presence over the streets, while some have claimed to hear ghostly whispers believed to be the victims crying out for justice. The Alabama Theater. It was built in 1927 by Paramount Pictures. It showcased silent films at the time. There was a construction worker's ghost is said to still haunt the balcony since his fatal fall during the theater's construction. A mystery lady in black is said to have vanished into walls as if drawn by unseen force in the lobby. A spectral figure that traversed the stage. Surprising organist Cecil Whitmire and singer during rehearsal is believed by some to be the ghost of Stanley Malott and former organist. The presence of unidentified entities, their unseen footsteps, and unseen hands felt by paranormal researchers on the balcony stairs, where the specific identities of those lingering spirits remained shrouded in mystery, transforming the Alabama Theater into a stage where they departed may make their spectral appearances. Lynn Henley Research Library. One eerie night in 1977, archivist Marvin Whiting witnessed the library's spectral secret. With no one else in sight, the elevator rumbled to life and a lingering scent of cigarette smoke wafted from within. There was nobody there but a security guard. He felt an uncanny presence and accompanied him on his journey through the third floor corridors. In 1989, another encounter sent shivers down the spine of an electrician working in the dimly lit stacks. He sensed a mysterious presence closing in behind him. When he turned, he was shocked to see a shape resembling a man, and it was nearly transparent. Later shown a photograph of Faint Thornley, the former library director who had passed away in 1970, the electrician could only nod, acknowledging that Thornley's restless spirit lingered within the library. There has also been reported eerie phenomena like pencils seemingly guided by unseen hands, books inexplicably dislodging from shelves, and whispers of conversation in empty rooms.
Okay, I found Marilyn's story.
Okay.
So Marilyn Mitchell was 22. She was raped and stabbed 38 times May 15th, 1990. As she was moving into a townhome in the Chapelwood subdivision. She had just graduated from the University of Alabama and would have begun work 8 days later at the Dothan Hospital. For 6 years, her case remained unsolved. Hammonds, who is the person who eventually got convicted for her death, her murder. Hammonds, a year after Mitchell's murder, was arrested for trying to kill another woman by stuffing her head in a toilet at a mini storage warehouse in Dothan. The only way she survived is to let her body go limp, so Hammonds thought she was dead.
Oh, she played dead.
Hammonds was sent to prison for that crime. Looks like they've eventually linked him by DNA.
Good.
And
Serves him right. Fucking bastard.
yeah, but she was stabbed 38 times. And then one of the websites said that afterwards he smoked a cigarette and then flicked the butt onto her body. He was sentenced to death.
Good.
I don't know if he's been put to death yet or not. You know how they like to drag those things out.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's why she's upset, because she was raped and stabbed to death when she was just starting her life.
The haunted history of Mobile, Alabama, the Battle House Hotel. 1910, Lady in Red.
Lady in Red.
I know, I was singing that in my head too. After a disastrous fire in 1905, the newly renovated and beautifully restored Battle House reopened in 1908. So you can imagine the excitement of the unnamed young bride of the legend when she and her new husband took up residence in the hotel in 1910. However, that joy was to be short-lived. They had been in the residence only 2 months when her husband left her in the beautiful hotel, supposedly to handle business out of town. Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Uh-huh. However, as the days of his absence turned into weeks and the weeks turned into months, the beautiful hotel where she had once made her happy home became a place of deep despair for the poor woman. At last, she conceded that her husband had abandoned her and hanged herself in the elegant crystal ballroom. What happened to this vanishing husband? Did he intentionally abandon his young wife, perhaps to return to a secret family elsewhere? Maybe he was innocent and tragically killed on the road trying to return to his pining bride, never to be found. Whatever the case is, guests to no events at the hotel are always advised to keep an eye on their photographs They just might spot an unfamiliar, mournful woman in a red dress looking for her lost love. That's kind of sad. 1932, crime of passion, the Battle House honor killing. The whole world loves a scandal, and Mobile is certainly no different. On August 22nd, 1932, 27-year-old Henry M. Butler Jr., a local real estate broker, agreed to meet a potential client in room 552 of the hotel. Unfortunately for him, this potential client was actually the husband of a woman he had had an affair with 2 years prior. In true Mobile fashion, the lovers met while serving together in the 1929 court of King Felix III. The affair wasn't particularly long-lived, but its effects may have been. Mr. Raymond Dyson had reason to believe that not only had Henry been overly friendly with his wife, Dorothy Grassfield Dyson, but that Henry might actually be the biological father of he and Dorothy's young son, born in July of 1930. Now, understandably, this was upsetting, but it upset Raymond enough that he and his brother Sam decided to lure Henry to the hotel room and teach him a lesson. No doubt Henry realized he was in for some trouble when he recognized Sam, who he knew, although I doubt he had any idea exactly how much. Because if he had, he might have had a different answer to Raymond's question of, when exactly were you having an affair with my wife? Then, that's none of your damn business. That was his answer. That hot retort immediately caused a scuffle, with Raymond punching Henry so hard in the face he broke his glasses. At this point, Henry realized he was in some serious trouble and attempted to yell for help. But after a bit more fighting, the brothers gagged and restrained him. They then continued to brutally beat him until he was unconscious, at which point they drug him to the room's bathroom and quickly left the hotel. When Henry was found by the hotel staff members some hours later, he had died. Despite loads of evidence and even confessions, the brothers were acquitted and allowed to go free. And even a confession, and they still went free. This was largely thanks to Dorothy openly admitting her affair on the stand, which caused the court to rule in favor of an unwritten law of the time, which was the understanding that the man was justified in killing his wife's lover. This undoubtedly hasn't set well with Henry's spirit. The hotel underwent major renovations in 2003, at which time many single rooms like room 552, in which Henry was killed, were combined to make larger suites. This significant change has left Henry's wandering soul at a disadvantage, and guests and staff alike report that he is known to rattle doorknobs of rooms on the 5th floor, trying in vain to find his way back to room 552. 2007, uninvited guests. In 2007, the Battle House Hotel was preparing for its grand reopening as the beautiful venue we know and love today. Before that official reopening, they hosted a wedding reception. The bride was so taken with the hotel that she even arranged to have her pre-wedding photos taken ahead of time at the hotel. The photographer wanted to take advantage of the stunning lighting and architecture of the lobby's rotunda, and so posed the bride so that he could photograph her standing the side of the mezzanine.
I've heard that word before, but I don't remember how you pronounce it.
Okay. In front of the trellis room while they were across the opening above the reception desk. This photo turned out exactly how they hoped and was enlarged for canvas-sized print to be displayed at the entrance to the wedding reception. However, the day of, the bridal party was quite distraught to discover that the bride wasn't alone in the photograph. A mysterious man in a gray suit could be seen standing in the mezzanine near her. Now, this should have been impossible. The hotel wasn't officially open yet, so the guests were very limited, and a professional photographer made sure to get all random passerbys out of the shot. Not only that, but they had reviewed the print before, and the man certainly had not been present. Yet there he was, standing plain as day in his gray suit. The bridal party went to advise the bride, who came to inspect the photo herself and see if she could determine the identity of the mystery man. Yet when they returned to look at the canvas, the gentleman disappeared. Who was this vanishing picture ghost? Could it be the husband of the poor lady in red, searching the hotel for his bride as she once searched for him? Could it perhaps be Mr. Butler, who we already knew had a penchant for young married ladies? Be sure to stop by the Battle House and ask for Mr. George for a tour.
All right, Mr. George.
Mr. George.
I found on thehauntedstates.com, Samantha Murphy wrote this. Old Cahaba, Alabama's haunted first capital. So in 1819, Alabama was granted statehood and the search for a suitable capital began. Situated at the confluence of the Alabama and Cahaba rivers, Old Cahaba seemed the logical choice. The location provided easy access for river commerce and the fertile lands promised prosperity. By 1820, Cahaba had been officially established as Alabama's capital city, with government buildings, churches, and grand homes quickly rising from the wilderness. However, the dream of a flourishing capital was short-lived. The low-lying land was prone to devastating floods, making it an impractical location for a long-term government seat. In 1826, the state legislature voted to move the capital to Tuscaloosa, marking the beginning of Old Cahaba's decline. Though it remained a thriving river town for several decades, the Civil War delivered the final blow. Cahaba became home to Castle Morgan, a Confederate prison for Union soldiers, notorious for its miserable conditions. What?
You said miserable.
Miserable?
Miserable. It sounded like you were trying to say Missouri.
Miserable.
Okay, go ahead.
Notorious for its miserable conditions. After the war, floods and economic hardship led residents to abandon the town, leaving behind only whispers of the past. As families and businesses moved elsewhere, buildings deteriorated, roads became overgrown, and the once proud community faded into obscurity. Today, only skeletal remains of the past exist, hinting at the lives once lived here. Many who visit say the silence feels almost alive, as if the town itself remembers everything that transpired within its borders. Ghostly encounters among the ruins. With its tragic history and desolate remains, it's no wonder that Old Cahaba has developed a reputation for being haunted. Paranormal enthusiasts and visitors alike report eerie occurrences, including disembodied voices, spectral figures, and unexplained sounds echoing through the ruins. One of the most chilling tales revolves around the ghostly laughter of children heard throughout the abandoned streets. Many speculate that these voices belong to the spirits of children who perished during the town's most harrowing years, whether from illness, war, or natural disasters. Some visitors claim to have seen shadowy figures darting between the remains of homes, only to vanish into thin air. There are accounts from those who have walked through the ruins at dusk, hearing what sounds like distant, playful giggling. Some report feeling small hands tugging at their clothes, only to turn and find nothing there. The laughter seems to float through the air, a chilling reminder that some spirits never truly leave. During the Civil War, Castle Morgan held hundreds of Union prisoners, many of whom died within its walls. Today, those who visit the site report hearing moans, footsteps, and even the rattling of chains in the night. Some claim to have seen a spectral soldier lingering near where the prison once stood, staring solemnly before disappearing into the darkness. Historians and paranormal researchers speculate that the intense suffering experienced within that prison left an imprint on the land. Those who have spent time investigating the area with ghost hunting equipment report spikes in electromagnetic activity and sudden temperature drops. Some even believe that certain spirits still carry out their daily routines, unaware that time has passed them by. Old Cahaba's cemetery is particularly active hotspot for paranormal activity. Visitors have reported seeing floating orbs of light hovering among the gravestones. Paranormal investigators believe these orbs could be manifestations of restless spirits still lingering in their final resting place. Some have tried to capture these glowing orbs on camera, only to find distorted or blurred images as if something beyond comprehension is interfering with the recording. A few brave souls have ventured into the cemetery late at night, only to hear whispers carried by the wind, voices that seem to call their names. Perhaps the most famous legend associated with Old Cahaba is that of the vanishing house. According to local lore, a mysterious home appears and disappears at random, only revealing itself to certain visitors. Some believe it to be the ghostly remnants of a once grand mansion, while others think it could be a trick of the mind fueled by the town's eerie atmosphere. A number of travelers have reported seeing a grand house at the edge of the woods, only for it to disappear when they glance away. Some have even claimed to have approached the house, seeing candlelight flickering in its windows, only for it to dissolve into the shadows before they could reach it. Is it a figment of imagination or something far more mysterious? While its days as a thriving town are long past, Old Cahaba has not been forgotten. Today it serves as an archaeological park, preserving its history while offering visitors a glimpse into its ghostly past. Walking trails wind through the ruins, and remnants of homes, churches, and the old courthouse still stand as silent witnesses to the town's former life.
Just vanishing house,
Yeah.
disappearing house. And I think that would freak me out.
If you
think
you're walking up to a house and it's all of a sudden not there.
That and the fact that, let's say Monday you're walking down the street, you see there's no house. You see an empty lot. The next day, Tuesday, you're walking down the street and all of a sudden there's a house there. I'd be like, am I fucking losing my mind?
Has that always been
there? I don't think that's always been there.
I don't think that's been there.
Yeah. That would make me go insane. And then have it not be there again the next day, or, we're walking up to it and be like,
seeing the freaking candle in the window and then it just dissolves.
I'd be like, I know I don't take drugs. What is going on? So, yeah, that would freak me out. And the giggling children. Yeah. I don't know.
Children are creepy.
I was going to say that. Children are creepy.
They are creepy.
Okay.
So the thing is, my daughter says
I was going to say
creepy.
Children that are alive are creepy, but children that are dead are super creepy. Because some things children say, it's like, who are you talking to? Oh, I'm talking to Sam. Who the fuck is Sam? We don't know a Sam.
Luckily, Aurora's never done anything like that. She's never spoken to somebody that's not there. But she does say things that kind of frighten me, like, is she going to be a serial killer when she's older? Because, she'll say, you have blood on your head or something like that, or just something weird. And it's just like, honey, we don't say stuff like that.
You pretend to be normal.
Yeah, we don't talk about
blood.
Stuff like that.
Yeah. How do you explain that to a 5-year-old?
Yeah. You just try to move the conversation elsewhere.
Yeah. Kids.
And hope she doesn't bring it up at school.
That's okay. So Ezra would say stuff too, and I'm just like, can you please not say that at school? I understand where you're coming from. I get it. You say these things, and maybe you saw something, or maybe you just what do you call it? Your thoughts. What are those called? Intrusive thoughts.
Uh-huh.
They get you, and sometimes you just got to spit them out. And or cuss words, and I'm just like, please, for the love of God, don't say that at school. You go to a Catholic school, not anymore. When he was younger, and he would say those things. You go to a Catholic school, please don't say those things at school. Don't say anything about killing. Don't say anything about blood. Don't say anything about ghosts.
Yeah.
Don't say nothing. And don't say cuss words. Like, that's all I can say. Like, I couldn't be mad at him. I couldn't be like, we don't say those things. The only thing I could come out of my mouth and be like, please don't say that at school.
Yeah. But then sometimes your fear is that if you tell them don't, that's just going to make them want to say it more.
Yes. Yeah.
They're like, my mommy told me not to say this.
But
Let
guess
me say
what?
it.
My mommy told me not to say that there's blood on her head.
Yeah.
And they'll be like, why is there blood on her head? And then, kids will be like, oh, because mommy and daddy were playing. And then they take it the wrong way. And it's like, oh my God, there's no blood on my head.
My sister, when she was in kindergarten, she told her school that her mommy was dead, that her daddy killed her mommy. Yeah. So,
I did not know that.
So that was fun for my parents.
Wow.
Yeah. They think it was because my brother had just been born, and so she was
acting out.
Yeah.
That happens.
Mm-hmm.
But holy cow.
Yeah. My mommy's dead. My daddy killed her.
Wow. That's huge. Like, holy cow. Okay. So yeah. When I get too much sun, I get itchy.
Yeah.
It'll turn into a suntan, but right now it's...
With me, it would peel.
I'm really tired. Okay.
All right. That's all we got. We're ready for bed. If you have any stories you'd like us to cover, if you have any glitches in the Matrix, any...
Fairy fucking.
Amanda likes that one.
I do like that one. Who doesn't want to fuck a fairy?
Well, it depends. Are they like little fairies, or are they
we can
normal size fairies?
Or they can be normal size.
Or we'll see. Or if you're friends with Bigfoot,
yes, let us know what it's like.
Let me know. I'd like to meet him. You tell us.
Yeah.
If you have any alien adoptions, if you're adopting these poor aliens,
orphaned aliens
that don't have any galactic places to go, please let us know. We'd like to help. You can send those in to our email at spinechillingchatspodcast@gmail.com. Or you can go to our website and submit them there, which is www.spine-chillingchatspodcast.com. Also on our website, we have a link to our merch store, and you can get some cool merch.
Really cool.
We got some Bigfoot, some alien. We got some
ghouls.
Yeah, we have our hot ghoul summer.
That's coming up. Get
our
your tank
sinister
tops.
stud summer. So
koozies.
Yep.
You
water bottles.
You need your water bottle. You need your koozie, and you need your tank top. So hit it up.
We also have, what are they called? Flankers? Is that what they're called?
I don't know.
Like the big mugs for beer. Like the old style. Stein. Yeah, like a Stein.
Yeah. You need those too.
Yeah.
You just need everything.
Buy it.
Just do
Why
it.
not?
Right.
You deserve it.
Yeah. Spend some money on yourself.
Yeah, why not?
Self-care.
It's
the number one thing.
It's important. Check us out on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram. If you're listening to this, good for you, because you found one of the many, many, many podcast platforms that we are on. But you can also check out our video on YouTube and see our smiling faces. I also add a lot of pictures and little extra tidbits to the video, so check it out. Mm-hmm. And please comment, like, share, subscribe. Tell your mom, tell your mama's mom, tell your best friend's mom. I don't care. Tell everybody.
Tell people.
Yeah.
We're here.
Whore us out. We don't care. Get us out there.
Yeah. Do it. Don't be lame. I think I got a hair in my mouth.
Ew.
Okay.
Well, we hope you enjoyed this. We hope you come back. And most of all, we hope you keep it spooky. Bye, guys.
Bye. Oh my God, I'm so fucking tired.